Did you know that there's one morning habit that over 70% of American women do every single day that triples their risk of developing Alzheimer's disease? And here's the shocking part, most doctors never warn you about it because they don't even realize the connection. I'm talking about something so common, so accepted in our culture, that you probably did it this very morning without even thinking twice. But when you understand what this habit does to your brain, especially after age 40, you'll never look at your morning routine the same way again. And the best part? There's a completely natural way to reverse this damage and actually protect your brain for decades to come. Stay with me because what I'm about to share could literally save your memory, your independence, and your golden years. Hi beautiful, I'm so glad you're here with me today because we're diving into something that could change everything about how you approach brain health. If you're new to our community of amazing women who believe in natural, science-based solutions for aging gracefully, please hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is your safe space for real, practical advice that works without expensive medications or complicated protocols. When you subscribe, you're joining thousands of women who are taking control of their health naturally, and I promise you'll never regret making that choice. Now, let's talk about why this morning habit is so dangerous, especially for us women over 40. You see, our brains are incredibly vulnerable during specific times of the day, and what we do in those first few hours after waking up can either protect our cognitive function or slowly chip away at it. The habit I'm talking about affects your blood sugar, your stress hormones, your inflammation levels, and something called your blood-brain barrier, which is basically your brain's security system against toxins and damage. Here's what happens when you skip breakfast or, even worse, when you start your day with coffee on an empty stomach. And yes, I see you there with your coffee mug, thinking this is just harmless morning fuel. But listen to this carefully, when you consume caffeine without any food in your system, you're creating a perfect storm in your body that directly attacks your brain health. First, your cortisol levels, which are already naturally high in the morning, spike even higher. This isn't just stress we're talking about, elevated cortisol literally shrinks the hippocampus, which is the memory center of your brain. Studies show that women who regularly skip breakfast have cortisol levels that stay elevated throughout the day, creating chronic inflammation that damages brain cells faster than your body can repair them. But here's where it gets really scary. When you drink coffee without food, your blood sugar crashes hard about 2 hours later. Your brain, which uses more energy than any other organ in your body, suddenly doesn't have the steady fuel it needs. So what does it do? It starts breaking down brain tissue to create emergency glucose. Yes, you heard that right, your brain literally starts eating itself when you don't provide steady, healthy fuel. Dr. Dale Bredesen, one of the world's leading Alzheimer's researchers, calls this metabolic dysfunction the primary driver of cognitive decline in women. He's documented case after case of women in their 40s and 50s who thought they were just experiencing normal aging symptoms, forgetting names, losing car keys, struggling to find words, when actually they were in the early stages of insulin resistance in the brain, which he calls type 3 diabetes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe you're sitting there feeling a little panicked because this sounds exactly like your morning routine. Take a deep breath with me, honey. The beautiful thing about your body, especially your amazing female brain, is that it has an incredible capacity to heal and regenerate when you give it the right tools. And I'm about to share exactly how to do that using simple, natural strategies that you can start tomorrow morning. The solution isn't complicated, but it is specific. You need to create what I call a brain-protective morning sequence that stabilizes your blood sugar, supports your stress response, and floods your system with the nutrients your brain craves. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress and giving your body what it needs to thrive. Let me walk you through the exact morning routine that has helped thousands of women reverse early cognitive decline and protect their brains for the long haul. And this comes from not just research, but from real women who've transformed their mental clarity and energy using these natural approaches. Step 1 is what I call the protein foundation. Within 1 hour of waking up, you need at least 20 grams of high-quality protein. This could be eggs cooked in grass-fed butter, a smoothie with plant-based protein powder, Greek yogurt with nuts and seeds, or even a piece of wild-caught salmon if you're feeling fancy. The key is getting those amino acids into your system before anything else. Here's why this works so beautifully. Protein provides steady glucose to your brain without spiking insulin. It also gives your body the building blocks to produce neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which keep your mood stable and your thinking sharp. When you start your day with protein, you're essentially telling your brain, I've got you covered. You can focus on thinking clearly instead of worrying about where your next meal is coming from. But here's a detail that most people miss: the type of protein matters enormously. You want complete proteins that contain all the essential amino acids, especially one called tryptophan, which your brain converts into that feel-good neurotransmitter serotonin. Eggs are absolutely perfect for this because they contain the highest quality protein available, plus choline, which is crucial for memory formation and brain development. Step 2 is adding healthy fats that specifically nourish your brain. Your brain is 60% fat, and the quality of fat you eat directly affects how well your neurons communicate with each other. I'm talking about things like avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. These fats help repair the myelin sheath around your neurons, which is like the insulation around electrical wires. When it's damaged, your thoughts move slowly and your memory suffers. One of my favorite brain-boosting breakfast combinations is what I call the memory bowl. Take half an avocado, mash it up with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil and a pinch of sea salt, then top it with 2 soft-boiled eggs and a handful of pumpkin seeds. This gives you perfect protein, brain-healthy fats, and minerals like magnesium and zinc that are essential for cognitive function. Now, if you absolutely must have your coffee, and I get it, some habits are hard to break, here's how to do it safely. Wait at least 30 minutes after eating your protein and fat breakfast. Then add a tablespoon of grass-fed butter or coconut oil to your coffee. This slows down the caffeine absorption and prevents that blood sugar crash we talked about earlier. You're essentially turning your coffee into a brain-protecting beverage instead of a brain-damaging one. But here's something really exciting that I want to share with you. There are specific foods that actually reverse brain damage and help grow new brain cells, even after age 50. Blueberries are probably the most famous brain food, and for good reason. They contain compounds called anthocyanins that cross the blood-brain barrier and literally help your neurons communicate better. Just half a cup of wild blueberries in your morning routine can improve memory within 12 weeks. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale are also incredible for your brain because they're loaded with folate, vitamin K, and lutein. These nutrients help protect against cognitive decline and actually slow brain aging. I love adding a handful of spinach to my morning eggs or blending kale into a smoothie with berries and protein powder. Here's another game changer that most women don't know about: turmeric. This golden spice contains a compound called curcumin that reduces inflammation in the brain and may actually help clear the amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. You can add a teaspoon of turmeric to your eggs, blend it into a smoothie, or make what I call a brain-boosting golden milk latte with coconut milk, turmeric, ginger, and a touch of black pepper, which helps your body absorb the curcumin better. Now, let's talk about timing, because when you eat is almost as important as what you eat. Your brain has a natural rhythm called the circadian cycle, and it's most receptive to nutrients in the morning when cortisol is naturally higher. This is why eating a brain-protective breakfast within that first hour is so crucial. You're working with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. But here's where it gets really interesting. Intermittent fasting, when done correctly, can actually protect your brain by increasing something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which helps grow new brain cells. The key is to do a gentle form of intermittent fasting that supports your female hormones rather than stressing them out. I recommend what I call the hormone-friendly fasting window. You eat your brain-protective dinner by 7 p.m., then break your fast the next morning with that protein and fat breakfast we talked about. This gives your brain about 12 to 14 hours to clean up damaged cells and regenerate new ones, without putting stress on your adrenal system. And here's something beautiful that happens when you consistently fuel your brain properly: you start sleeping better. Quality sleep is when your brain literally washes itself clean of toxins through something called the glymphatic system. It's like a dishwasher for your brain that runs while you sleep, clearing out the waste products that contribute to Alzheimer's disease. Women who eat brain-protective breakfasts consistently report falling asleep easier, staying asleep longer, and waking up with better mental clarity. It's this beautiful cycle where good nutrition supports good sleep, which supports good brain health, which makes it easier to make good nutrition choices the next day. Let me share a story that really illustrates this transformation. I worked with a woman named Sarah who was 53 and terrified because she was forgetting important details at work, losing her train of thought in conversations, and couldn't remember where she put things. Her mother had developed Alzheimer's at 65, and Sarah was convinced she was headed down the same path. Sarah had been skipping breakfast for years, surviving on coffee until lunch, then eating whatever was convenient. Within 3 months of implementing this brain-protective morning routine, her mental fog lifted, her energy stabilized, and she felt like herself again. Her doctor was amazed by the improvement in her cognitive tests, and Sarah felt confident and sharp for the first time in years. The key for Sarah wasn't just changing what she ate, but understanding why these changes mattered. When you know that your morning choices are literally building or breaking down your brain, it becomes so much easier to make the healthy choice. You're not depriving yourself, you're investing in your future self, your independence, and your ability to enjoy your golden years fully. Now, I want to address something that might be holding you back from making these changes. Maybe you're thinking you don't have time for elaborate breakfasts, or you're not much of a cook, or you've tried healthy eating before and it didn't stick. I hear you, and I want you to know that this doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. You can hard-boil a dozen eggs on Sunday and grab 2 with an avocado for a perfect brain breakfast. You can make overnight chia pudding with protein powder, almond milk, and berries that's ready when you wake up. You can even keep cans of wild-caught salmon and a bag of pre-washed spinach for the quickest possible brain-boosting meal. The important thing is consistency, not perfection. Your brain responds to steady, reliable nutrition much better than sporadic perfect meals followed by days of poor choices. Even if you only implement these changes 5 days a week, you're still giving your brain significantly better protection than if you continue with the morning habits that increase Alzheimer's risk. And here's something really encouraging: the benefits start almost immediately. Within just a few days of eating a brain-protective breakfast, most women notice improved focus and energy. Within a few weeks, memory and word recall start improving. And within a few months, you're literally rewiring your brain for better long-term health. This is also a perfect time to mention that if this information is resonating with you, please subscribe to our channel. I share evidence-based, natural solutions for women's health every week, and I'd love to support you on this journey toward better brain health and overall wellness. Your future self will thank you for taking this step today. There's one more crucial element I want to share with you about protecting your brain naturally, and it has to do with specific nutrients that are almost impossible to get enough of through food alone, even when you're eating perfectly. These are the nutrients that can literally reverse brain aging when used correctly, and they're the missing piece that many women need to see dramatic improvements in their cognitive function. But that's exactly what I'm going to dive deep into in my next video. I'm going to share the 3 specific supplements that have been shown in clinical studies to not only prevent cognitive decline but actually improve memory and focus in women over 40. These aren't expensive or hard to find, but there are specific forms and dosages that make all the difference between wasting your money and actually protecting your brain. I'll also share the one common supplement that most women think is helping their brain but is actually making cognitive decline worse, plus the simple test you can ask your doctor for that reveals exactly how much brain damage you might already have and how to reverse it naturally. So make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on, because this next video could be the missing piece you need to completely transform your brain health and ensure that your mind stays sharp and clear for decades to come. Your brain health is absolutely worth investing in, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way with safe, natural, science-based solutions that really work.